talk about Home Depot shares. The company coming in with earnings on an adjusted basis of $3.13. That is better than had been expected. We're going to be keeping an eye on this. Also, revenue numbers coming in better than expected, too. $39.7 billion versus the $39.2 billion the street had been anticipating. And comps are also much better than had been expected. This is going to be a big story, especially after what we had heard from Walmart earlier.
Down $14.
They're looking at comps up 0.8% versus the down 1.5% estimate. Now, the comp, what you're seeing right now, down 3.8%, my guess would be this is because of the guidance they are giving for the full year. They are talking about total sales being up about 2.8%, comps being up 1%, diluted earnings per share, or adjusted diluted earnings per share, they're now saying down about 2% from the 15.24 that they reported in the fiscal year 24. It takes a little bit of time to work through the numbers on this because the adjusted earnings per share that they came in with for fiscal 24 was much better than had been anticipated. 15.24 versus the range that people had been looking at for this spread. So you got to do the math on that. Down 2% would compare to the consensus estimates, which is around 14.61 to 16.22. So a pretty wide spread. And it's going to be better than the low end of those, but well below the high end of that estimate, too, for the consensus estimates that are coming in on this.
Down 2.5%.
Yeah,
not that much. But
yeah, I will say, let's continue to look through these numbers. I spoke with the CFO, Richard McPhail, and they talked about a lot of things. They don't see the overall landscape improving on the housing front. They don't think that rates are going to come down. That's not their best estimate for things. But they do think that they are better operationally, that they're performing better at about the best that they've ever seen with some of these things. He said that they have made some serious improvements when it comes to delivery experience, speed, and reliability. They say things like appliances and power tools as a result. They've been taking market share in those areas. They also say the online business comped up 9%, that's the biggest comps they've seen in a year. They also say for the pro customers, they're looking at things like drywall and concrete, where they've made a lot of improvements, too. These are areas they've made investment. And so they say that they have seen a lot of gains in those areas. The pro business is a big deal for Home Depot, much bigger there than it is for Lowe's. They do say they're seeing continued pressure, though, when it comes to big renovations. And that's because of the slowness you've seen in the housing market. When you have a turnover in housing, that's when you see some of those bigger renovations. And as a result, they're seeing pressure still on things like flooring and kitchens. However, the CFO, Richard McPhail, said that when you're triangulating all of this, they're trying to figure out how things go. And again, they're not expecting improvement in the housing market because they're not expecting rates to drop from where we are here. It's just how the interest rates affect everything that you're seeing. Questions about the consumer, though, they do say the customers have been becoming more engaged.